Oh no.
92 seconds. That's all it takes. 92 seconds to turn The Incredibles on its head. To take what seemed like a fun, jazzy superhero flick and crack it wide open, revealing one of Pixar's most chilling villain transformations. At first, Syndrome is just a fanboy gone wrong, a flashy, tech-savvy nuisance, until he's not. Because in those 92 seconds, everything shifts. A single moment rewires the entire movie, establishing Syndrome as one of Pixar's greatest antagonists. Alright folks, strap in. Today we're dissecting the scene that flips everything we thought we knew about Syndrome in The Incredibles. A moment so pivotal, it cements him as one of Pixar's most masterfully crafted villains. Oh, and if you don't want spoilers for a 20-year-old movie, I don't know what to tell you, man. Maybe finish The Incredibles before you finish this video. Now, let's set the stage. In The Incredibles, superheroes were once celebrated, but were forced into retirement after public backlash. Now, the Parr family, Bob, Helen, Violet, Dash, and baby Jack-Jack, live a painfully ordinary life, hiding their extraordinary abilities. Just when it seems like the superhero era is over, a new figure emerges from the shadows, someone who never forgot the Golden Age, someone who wants it back, on his own terms. That someone is Buddy Pine, better known as Syndrome. You know him, you fear him, and let's be honest, a tiny part of you kinda relates to him. I mean, who hasn't been rejected by their childhood hero and then immediately dedicated their life to an elaborate revenge scheme involving multi-million-dollar murder robots? No? Just him? Cool. Moving on. When we first meet Buddy, he's a bright-eyed, freckle-faced superfan with a questionable haircut and way too much enthusiasm. This kid doesn't just love superheroes, he wants to be one. He idolizes Mr. Incredible, builds his own gadgets, and practically throws himself at his idol's feet like a golden retriever begging for validation. And what does Mr. Incredible do? He pulls the classic, "Sorry kid, I work alone" move, and obliterates Buddy's dreams in real time. Like, imagine you meet your favorite celebrity and instead of a selfie, they tell you to get lost. That's what happens here. Mr. Incredible doesn't just reject Buddy, he crushes him. And to be fair, a random 10-year-old showing up inside your car uninvited is a little unsettling. But still, brutal. It's basically Batman telling a young Joker, "Hey kid, maybe try clown college instead of crime." Fast forward a couple of decades and Buddy has undergone the ultimate glow-up and villain arc. He's rebranded himself as Syndrome, a billionaire tech genius with gravity-defying hair and the confidence of a man who has never once lost a Twitter argument. The energy is unmatched. He's spent years crafting his master plan. First, eliminate all real superheroes. Second, fake being one himself. 3. Sell his tech so that everyone can have superpowers. Because, as he so famously puts it,
When everyone's super,
no one will be.
okay, admit it, that's kind of brilliant. Sure, his entire philosophy is built on bitterness and spite, but he actually has a point. Think about it. The way society worships superheroes, the way power is hoarded by the chosen few, Syndrome is basically Elon Musk if he swapped Twitter feuds for murder. And for the most of the movie, he seems untouchable. He's got the money, the brains, and the firepower. He's always 10 steps ahead. He outsmarts Mr. Incredible, neutralizes Elastigirl, and nearly destroys the entire Parr family. This dude is calculated, confident, and unstoppable. Or at least that's what we thought. Because then, just when you're convinced he's the ultimate cold-blooded mastermind, the movie hits us with those 92 seconds. And suddenly, Syndrome isn't who we thought he was. So, what exactly happens in this scene? And why does it flip everything we thought we knew about him? It's because of an unexpected twist. You've been watching The Incredibles for over an hour now. You've seen midlife crises, secret islands, family therapy in the form of high-speed chases, and Edna Mode absolutely bodying capes. By this point, Syndrome is firmly established as a menacing villain. He's powerful, methodical, and ruthlessly intelligent. This guy doesn't just fight superheroes, he hunts them down and wipes them off the map. He outsmarts Mr. Incredible. He erases an entire generation of supers. He even delivers a villain monologue so iconic that it became meme history. You know the one.
Sly dog! You got me monologuing! I can't believe it.
Everything about Syndrome screams cold, calculated mastermind. He's untouchable, a true nemesis, the Lex Luthor of Pixar. But then, this happens. Syndrome returns to his evil jet plane, fresh off his I'm about to win victory lap, and he's met with something unexpected. A baby. Now, let's take a moment to appreciate this situation. Syndrome, the man who has literally killed superheroes, now finds himself face to face with a giggling, pudgy, diaper-clad infant.
'Cause you don't ask any hard questions.
I mean, seriously, look at this kid. So, how does he react? Does he stay cool? Does he handle this situation with villainous grace? Does he unleash some terrifying master plan? No. No, he does not. He absolutely loses his mind. The second he realizes he's dealing with a baby, an actual baby, he shifts from evil genius to confused babysitter who did not sign up for this. First, he tries to reason with Jack-Jack, which is honestly adorable. Just look at him holding the baby at arm's length, like he just found out it's his turn to change the diaper. I kind of feel like he was probably thinking, "You're getting a little too close here, buddy." Yeah, Syndrome. I'm sure the infant will respect your personal space boundaries. But Jack-Jack? Oh, Jack-Jack has other plans. Because just when Syndrome thinks he's got the super situation under control, the baby ignites. Boom! Fire mode. Jack-Jack transforms into a tiny fire demon straight out of Doom, and suddenly Syndrome is not so cocky anymore. Keep in mind, this is the same man who murders superheroes for sport. And now he's freaking out, like he just realized the babysitting gig doesn't pay overtime. And just as he's processing that, Jack-Jack shifts again. Boom! Metal mode. Our little chaotic king morphs into a solid metal goblin, and Syndrome drops him in sheer terror. Yes, folks, let's recap. The same man who designed a murder robot that could adapt and evolve just got completely outplayed by an infant. But wait, it gets worse. Because just as Syndrome is trying to mentally reboot his entire existence, Jack-Jack activates his final form. Boom! Nightmare Slinky mode. He stretches, he twists, he distorts. And Syndrome screams like full-volume cartoon villain screams. He's done. He's shook. He lets go of Jack-Jack like, nope, I'm out. And in that exact moment, the illusion shatters. Those 92 seconds. Fire, metal, stretchy horror. They reduce Syndrome from menacing villain to man who regrets every life choice that led him here. So, what just happened? Well, we just watched The Incredibles sneakily rewrite Syndrome's entire character arc, and it's brilliant. So before these 92 seconds, Syndrome was the ultimate planner. He had thought of everything. He staged his superhero murders like a battle royale tournament. He manipulated Mr. Incredible into his trap twice. He designed an unstoppable robot that he knew he could take credit for destroying. This man, he doesn't panic, he calculates. Until a baby shows up? Jack Jack doesn't just burn, bend, and metallically terrify him, he exposes him. Because here's the thing. Syndrome isn't as in control as he pretends to be. His whole persona is built on overcompensation. He pretends to be the smartest guy in the room. He acts like he's above superheroes, but deep down, he's still that insecure, rejected kid who just wanted to matter. That's why this moment is so genius. The second Jack Jack goes gremlin mode, Syndrome completely folds. This isn't a guy who's prepared for anything. This is a guy who's used to controlling the script, and suddenly he's in a scene he did not write. And let's be real, it's hilarious. One minute he's a terrifying villain, and the next he's one step away from dropping Jack Jack and running for his life. But here's where it gets even deeper. This scene perfectly mirrors his childhood moment with Mr. Incredible. Back then, he was an overeager kid trying to insert himself into the superhero world, only to get rejected. And now, he's the one who's powerless, dealing with something he doesn't understand. Just like Mr. Incredible dismissed him as a sidekick wannabe, Syndrome dismisses Jack Jack as just a baby. And just like Buddy Pine didn't stay in his lane, Jack Jack doesn't either. It's poetic justice. And here's where it gets even more brilliant. Jack Jack's powers aren't just random chaos. They mean something. Each transformation serves as a symbolic gut punch to Syndrome's entire character. Fire, it represents destruction, rage, the same burning resentment Syndrome has carried for decades. Metal, strength, resilience, qualities Syndrome thinks he has, but the second things get real, he crumbles under pressure. Shapeshifting, total unpredictability, and that's what truly undoes Syndrome. He thrives on control, on knowing what's coming next. Jack Jack, he rewrites the script with every second. Jack Jack isn't just an unstoppable force of nature. He's the embodiment of everything Syndrome didn't plan for. Everything he can't manipulate. And that realization shakes him to his core. The exact thing Syndrome hated, being underestimated, happens to him. And in just 92 seconds, we see his entire arc come full circle. He's not a cold, unstoppable villain. He's just a guy. A flawed, panicky, dramatic guy who thought he had it all figured out. And well, he really, really didn't. So, let's get one thing straight. The Incredibles didn't have to do this. They could have let Syndrome stay the evil mastermind archetype all the way through. They could have made him cold, ruthless, and unshaken until his final downfall. But instead, they gave us this scene. And in just 92 seconds, they made Syndrome way more complex, way more human, and way funnier than most animated villains ever. Now, why does this work so well? First, it's comedy gold. Syndrome, the smug, unstoppable villain, getting completely humbled by a baby? That's objectively hilarious. It's like watching a super serious Bond villain get taken out by a banana peel. It just works. Second, it makes him more believable. Let's be honest, Syndrome always felt like the kind of guy who would crumble under real pressure. He's smart, sure. Dangerous, absolutely. But deep down, he's an insecure, emotionally stunted fanboy. And this scene confirms it. The second he faces something truly unpredictable, he loses it. He thought he was untouchable, but the moment reality stops following his script, he panics like a dude who just got caught using his mom's credit card for V-Bucks. Third, it's thematically perfect. The Incredibles is all about family. And who takes down the villain? Not Mr. Incredible, not Elastigirl, not even Dasher Violet. It's the baby. Because in the end, Syndrome never understood what real power was. He thought it was gadgets, intellect, and revenge. But real power? It's the thing he never had. Family, connection, and whatever eldritch whore Jack Jack is. This scene doesn't just change Syndrome, it perfects him. It turns him from a standard villain into a fully fleshed out character with layers, flaws, and a gloriously funny downfall. And honestly, that's incredible. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go watch that scream in slow motion again. Do you want a movie moment that completely flips everything on its head? Take a look at my analysis of Coco. It's all fun, music, and family until Miguel realizes Ernesto de la Cruz isn't a hero. He's a fraud who literally murdered his best friend for fame. One minute, you're vibing to Un Poco Loco, and the next, you're questioning everything you thought you knew. And remember, if a baby ever looks at you like this, just start running.